My name is Dr. Thomas Lockhart, and you are tuned in to Rolling Out.
Hey, Rolling Out family, welcome to Art and Culture. Today we're diving into the mind of one of Chicago's most dynamic multimedia artists, Dr. Thomas Lockhart. His spirit-driven process begins with a blank canvas, transforming divine inspiration into vibrant, layered works that tell stories of depth, movement, and faith. Let's get into his artistry and the upcoming event that he has coming up with Pigment. How are you today, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Yes, yes. So I gotta ask. So you begin each piece on a black canvas instead of a white one. Why do you do that, and what does that symbolize for you?
There's a couple years ago, I used to paint just on a regular canvas, and I just didn't like the way it looked. As I got older and into my artwork, I started looking at my art as in a spiritual aspect too, as well. And I looked at it as how God sees us, that He would start our life, go through our life, finish it, and then restart it again, and then we live that life. And so, as an artist starts with their artwork, they have a vision of what they're going to paint, or a good, clear idea. As they start on that piece, they continue and they're working on it, through their imagination. And then when the piece is done, when people ask, how do you know when you're finished with the piece? Most of the time is you see what you saw at the very beginning. So I look at it like that aspect. And I love starting on that black background. So I'll paint the canvas black and then I'll sketch my image and then I'll do whites to do shadows and highlights. And then I'll start with the colors and do my mixed media and everything within that piece too as well. So I like that bold richness. It's like just like a black nothingness, making something we've been doing it for so many years, making nothing
Right,
out of
right.
something.
Out of darkness comes the light, indeed. So,
Yes.
I usually ask artists, how they would describe their style. However, you're known for saying all styles are my style. How do you blend genres while keeping your artistic identity intact?
One of the things that my wife said, when I was God was handing out blessings, I went back for second and thirds. And so I look at art. There's so many different facets to it. I mean, you have stuff that you can look at and you can understand what it looks like. You also have abstract art that you have, and you have different things in different genres too as well. So I've always been a really diverse artist. So I love working in different styles and techniques and not being afraid to do those types of things. So that's what I look, different our culture to many other different cultures. Art has always been like historically the starting point of finding out what has happened in that particular culture or ethnic group. Before we had cameras and other types of things, it was the art that told the story and told the history. Right.
You've become known internationally for blending heritage, innovation, and spirituality. How do you maintain that balance while continuing to evolve creatively?
Someone said sometimes, when you study things and you think you know everything about those subjects, and then you realize you know nothing. So it's like, I really believe that I'm still in the beginning of this process, that there's still so much more to learn. Over the last, say, about 10 years, I've really been getting into just researching, and a lot of it has been turning into a lot of our work and our history, just going in the background and seeing things that we didn't know about it ourselves, and seeing the beautiful aspects of what happened to us, how we got to where we were, where we need to head, and to be able to do that in an inspiring way and telling a story with it as well.
So,
Mhm.
what does it mean to you to represent Black artistry on both local and global stages?
It means the world. It means the ability to be able to get our stories out, to see people, not to see us one dimensional, to see that we are many facets and we have creative imaginations. Just looking at the inventions that we've been able to produce, I mean, we can definitely go down to see how many things that we've designed and we've put together just in this country alone. So I love the whole process and understanding the capabilities of the stuff that we do.
How does the city itself inform your work?
Also, Colorado, family in Chicago, it's a richness in both places. And, like, say, for instance, for this piece that I created for the Pigment International and Pigment Fine Art Fair It is learning about the city that has a deep culture, learning that Chicago was founded by a black man, Jean Baptiste Point du Sable, back in, I think it was like 1799, around the very beginning of 1800, and getting to see the richness of the creativity of how that land was put together. When I first started this piece, I worked off a 1940s poster that was done during the World Fair, and seeing how the black predominance was there in Chicago, and how beautiful the landscape of what they believed and looking forward to the future for them was amazing. So I loved that process too as well, and just seeing the city grow. My grandparents, his brothers and sisters, all from Chicago, and they came up from Louisiana to find a better life, and being able to do that while they were there.
You mentioned the pigmented art fair that's coming up. What can people expect to see there?
Yeah, there's going to be artist talks. I think the first night they're going to do something with Black dandyism. So I'm excited about that. I got a friend who's a clothing designer, so she's going to help me put together something. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, just showing the art and the work that I do. I'm gonna, wear a couple of my merch stuff that I have, but the talks from the different artists, talks from the galleries that they'll get to see, some beautiful, amazing African American work from all over the country, and then many of these galleries represent artists from Africa and other different diasporas in the Black diaspora. So I have some pieces that I'm excited to be able to show, some stuff I've done years ago, and I'm bringing back out to the show. So yeah, so a lot of different things with the artist talks. They have different aspects, just the quality of art and why you should collect, and why we should, as African Americans, invest in ourselves and invest in art, because it's a part of, portfolio, as part of being able to come up in society.
Let's dig into that some more. Why should people collect art?
I think it's important. Like I said, it's historical based. Plus, you're also, and especially collecting African American art, you're helping another person continue with their craft, and to be able to move forward and create a better space for other people. You've probably heard about art therapy that's been happening lately. So people being able to collect things that draw them emotionally to help them as they make it through their day. I look at, you see a piece of my work when you come in and when you leave, it brings, it's inviting, it's inspiring. And like I said, it's historical. These things, they adorn our walls. And to have a blank wall with nothing in it, I think it's it's a shame. I believe, art, they say, I believe it's a necessity to keep it at that particular aspect. It's not just like having something else or not having art. I believe it's a necessity. It's
You
something
know,
that sets our identity. Different people collect what they feel and what they're drawn to and what brings out the best in them.
you mentioned the walls, and you've often said that your art finds its home on the purchaser's wall. What does that connection mean to you?
It means a lot when someone can draw an identity to the work that they see. Sometimes they say it takes about 2 to 3 times for somebody to really look at a piece of artwork that they may get to the point of wanting to collect it. Sometimes it's them meeting the artist and getting a connection with that artist too as well, and seeing what they felt when they were putting that piece together and drawing that out. So it's an honor to me, and a number of people, just regular people who have collected my work, and then some celebrities, and being able to do some other aspects of the work that I've done, from painting small pieces to doing murals. It's just a blessing that people are able to receive my work the way they do.
So where does this passion come from? I mean, it's clear in the work that I've seen. It's clear when you talk about it. Where's the source of this passion for the arts come from?
I initially got inspired by some artwork that I saw from a cousin that was in my grandmother's house when I was really young, and I looked at that work, just really awe-inspired by the pencil drawings that she did. And I think that was my first inspiration. I believe the passion really came because I took art in school, middle school, high school, went to college for graphic design. And I think the big passion really came around the year 2000, about 25 years ago, where I really looked at, I want to do this on a full-time basis. I want to be a professional artist. I didn't know what that looked like, but I said I'm going to pursue it anyway in the midst of working full-time jobs and the other things that I did. And I'm like, I'm going to make this happen. And then I'm going to learn as I continue to grow. That was a process. How did they go about? What was their process? What were they thinking? What are the strokes and the ideas that they were putting into this work? The blood, sweat, and tears. And I see that being, something that will live on for years too, as well.
Definitely. You said you started this in the year 2000. It's now 2025. And 2000 doesn't seem that long ago.
It does, and it flew by so fast.
What it makes me wonder is the type of advice that you would give to an emerging artist about creating from a place of authenticity and spirit and what to prepare for in this art world.
With the art world right now, we have digital art, you got NFTs, you got the traditional work, and many people were saying that some of those other new technologies would eventually take over the traditional style of art. But I don't believe so. I mean, I know there were a lot of artists that were concerned because you can do stuff with AI in a couple of minutes and would take somebody a month to complete,
Mhm.
but I believe as we are humans, we want to see the human side of things, and it's beautiful to see something, but having something without a soul is hard for our soul to connect to. So I believe the art, the sweat and tears, the time to design, as been saying the word process quite a bit, it's a leading to creating something that has a heartbeat to it, So absolutely.
So, what's next for you creatively?
After the show for Chicago, I'm going to be working on some other pieces for some galleries that I've been working with, getting ready for a show in New York next year. And I want to start doing some research. I would love to start doing some traveling, talking to other people about, things they know. I love putting together a good body of work that I've been doing lately of series talking about different things that we've gone through. I would love to go over to Africa because I haven't been. I've drawn, but I haven't been. So I really would love to be on the motherland, to be able to see more of the richness of the culture, and then to add some of those things into the work that I produce.
So, how can people find you? Where can they see more of your work?
So you can find me, my website, www.lockhart gallery, that's LOCKHART gallery.com. You can find me on Instagram at T underscore Lockhart Gallery, Facebook, Thomas E. Lockhart Gallery. And you could Google me too as well. So if you put in my name, Thomas Elias Lockhart III, you can find my information too as well. So
Thank you so much for joining us today.
thank you so much for having me. Greatly appreciate it.
Dr. Lockhart, thank you for sharing your artistry and your vision with us. Your work reminds us that depth, faith, and creativity live beyond the surface. Thank you for joining us here on Art and Culture. This is your man, Eddie Precise Lamar. And as I always say, stay focused, positive, and productive. Peace.
Peace.